All right, I'm getting ready to shoot the flat clear. So the exposed areas of the paint are going to get the flat. So when the silly putty and tape get removed, that should leave the gloss around it. That'll give us that worn out flat appearance. The worn out gloss coat appearance. And then with our oils, the white oil will go in around the edges and kind of feather that in a little bit. In my mind, it's going to work. I have not tried this before. It's an idea. It's an experiment. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. No big deal. That's part of the learning process, right? All right. So that worked. I don't know. Hopefully you can see that. So I just sprayed it, so it's not even completely dry. But I think you can see in the reflection of the light where the flat area is. All right, everybody knows that a good pickup truck is going to have a ball hitch on the back bumper. The bumper that came in the kit didn't have any ball hitch or even the holes for it, so I drilled holes. And what I'm going to use for my ball hitch are these micro ball links from Dubro. These are used on RC airplanes for the most part. I guess some of the car guys probably use them too. But you'll see you've got the ball, which is what I'm going to use on the bumper. And you've got the socket, which I'm actually scratch building a car trailer right now. And that's what I'm going to end up using for the ball hitch socket on my trailer. And there it is. Might need to paint that with a little silver paint to make it look a little better. But it's going to get some rust on it too, so it'll look good. Okay, the kit side mirrors. Let me pick one up here. So the brackets, the mounting bracket itself, they look a little too thick to me in scale. Plus, they're molded in halves. So you've got a mold line that runs right through the middle, and you can see, I think you can see that they're a little bit misaligned. So anyway, what I'm going to do is try to make new brackets out of some sheet aluminum that I picked up at the hobby shop. I don't know for sure the thickness on this. I didn't mic it, and it's not really marked. But I felt like it was the right thickness for what I wanted to do. I just cut off thin slices with shears, hammered them out flat on my steel bench top. I had to straighten a little bit when I cut them. They curled up real bad. Anyway, I just used the flat needle nose pliers to help straighten those bends. But now I do need to bend it to get this shape, and I don't know if I've got enough to get these little feet onto it or not. All right, that didn't take too long. I actually lost one that I was working on. It flew off my bench, and I think it flew into my trash can. Anyway, they are almost exactly like the kit part in shape and size, only they're thinner, which that's what I wanted. I think they look much more scale, so now I'll cut the mirror base off. And then on the back sides of the mirrors, there was a rather large ejector pin mark, like right in the center. So I punched out some small discs of thin styrene, glued them into place, and then sanded it all down to fill in that divot. They just need a coat of primer on them now, and they'll be ready to go. All right, I decided to just super glue them on. That the bracket was really too narrow to try to drill a hole through. So I think it's going to work. I'll still need to prime the mirror part and paint it. Actually, I'll probably just go ahead and prime the whole thing and paint the whole thing, even though I kind of like the look of the bare aluminum metal. It's time to do a little oil weathering on this thing. And I've got white oil paint, red ochre, burnt sienna, and burnt umber. And we're going to start with that faded clear coat that I was talking about. So, all right, in the little cup is just odorless mineral spirits. And I'm going to work on this. It may be hard to see where the flat is, but I think as I go along, you'll see it a little better. All right, let's start off by wetting our brush some. Now, I even have to turn this into the light to see my edges. And it's going to look a little stark initially, because we're going to get this white loaded up on that edge, but then we'll come back with a more wet brush and remove, well, not really remove as much as feather out the white that we've got in there now. All right, now you can see where I've outlined the flat from the gloss. I think that's showing up. All right. So now what I need to do is I'm going to get the paint off the brush. Most of it anyway. All right, it's mostly off the brush. Now what I'm going to do, and again I'll start with the hood, I'm going to wet the brush and I'm going to drag that white away from the flat, and it'll feather it out and should give us the look that we're after. All right, and you'll see it's too much, right? So we'll keep dragging this out, and then I'll come back with a drier brush. And we'll soak up the excess. All right, let's see if we can get some of this off now. There, you see? I dried the brush. Here, let me pull this over here in front of me. That'll help. So, by drying off the brush, you're able to use the brush like a wick and wick away that excess moisture, excess oil paint. And it still looks a little stark around the edge, so it'll take a little work. You know, it's not going to happen right away. You kind of got to work at it, pulling it around. Let's clean off this brush a little bit more. All right, now see that sunburst pattern around it? I don't really want that, so I'm going to keep going back at it with a dry brush and wicking away more and more of that paint until it really gives me the look I'm after. Because, you know, remember, this out here is supposed to still be glossy, so we want to get rid of most of that. And you may have to wet the brush again to get at it. All right, see how it's coming off now? Just dragging it across, pulling away the excess. right, so it's getting there. All right, that's almost where I want it. I think my white line is a little too thick, so I might need to feather that out a little more. I think to do that, I'm actually going to grab my fan brush and drag it loosely. All right, so this is my fan brush, and I'm gonna saturate it with the mineral spirits, get most of that off, and then we'll just lightly drag away from all the edges. It's taking away a bit of that hard edge of the white line oil paint that I have on there. Okay, and now I don't know if you're able to see it in the light. It's really obvious that there are brush marks over our clear area. So that's what I've got the cotton bud here. Get some of the mineral spirits on it. Again, like our brush, we take most of it back off, and we'll just go around and dab and swipe to help remove some of that brush stroke that we're seeing in the light. All right, there we are. That's our faded, deteriorated clear coat. There's a little bit on the top of the quarter panels here. It's not quite as obvious. Okay, so that's that. Now we get to weather the rest of the truck. That's what the other colors are for, to give us a little bit of a rusted weathering. So red ochre, burnt sienna, burnt umber. And we'll go around all our dents and dings and probably a little bit underneath it as well. Sorry, I had the tailgate in the back. Yeah, because right now the underside looks too clean. The engine compartment is too clean. So we'll use oils, and I've also got some weathering powders here. So it'll be a combination of both. All right? We'll come back in a bit. All right, y'all. I'm calling it done. I did the weathering with the oils and the powders, the weathering powders. I didn't record any of that. So I'm going to show you the final product. Hang on.